So, I just want to talk about emotions for a minute. Emotions for me doesn't mean that I'm needing to emote more. Sometimes it just means, Christy, that I'm just a little not aware of how emotional I have been. And so I think when I got a little emotional on here, don't get alarmed. I totally was just a little frustrated and overwhelmed at the time. And so when I spoke to my frustration, I think that's where the tears kind of started. Emotions mean a lot of different things to different people, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I need to emote more or, anything's wrong. I think naturally we all have emotional feelings sometimes that kind of come up sometimes and make us feel a little overwhelmed, and then there's times where we do need to talk to people, but that's not quite me at this point. I'm really trying to just find a strategy, but thank you for what you offered. I really do believe I need some coaching, and I believe my husband's he's a good coach, so he's gonna kind of help me through a little bit of that as far as my studying habits. And I think once I have my studying habits down, I'll be okay. I'm not, a lot of my work isn't memorization that I have to definitely know. It's like all multiple choice. So if I could just recognize the things that I need to recognize from my exam, I've kind of gone through sample test questions. And I just feel like I feel like I'll be okay, but you still get nervous sometimes. So I think that's probably what's going on for me. But I bet if I have all of you praying for me, I'll be just fine, and God will just work things out. I am a person of faith, and I believe my faith will do wonders for me. I'm not going to solely base it on faith, but I'm going to do my part and do my part of the work. But I really believe I'll be okay. But thank you for being concerned. Thank you for being very concerned. In fact, you were very concerned about me. And I know that's just your love, but I'm good. I really feel like it was just a place where I was at the time. And since I've been talking and sharing, actually, and talking more about this with different friends and different people, I've gotten spiritual and natural approaches to studying. I even shared with a friend of mine who is a speech therapist, and she gave me some really good advice about studying with ADD and how you have to do it in spurts, like 30-minute spurts. So I've been doing some 30-minute studying, 30 to 45 minutes studying, and then I'll take a break, and then I'll go back to it. So I'm really actually liking that, and I think that's helping me a little bit too. So yeah, I'm good. I'm getting there. I think things will kind of come to a place where I'll get in the rhythm, and I'll be able to do that. So, and on a lighter note, just so everybody knows, I am going to, as probably the summer gets through a little bit, I'm going to probably be, I'll still be coming out here because I like talking to y'all, but it'll probably be a little bit more sporadic and sometimes without topic. So there will be Christy who will get a chance to ask you questions or talk to you. She's kind of helping me with that and agreed to do a little bit of that this summer. But I'm good. I think, I'm not the type of person as an introvert who kind of seeks out a lot of pondering, because I do so much evaluation and self-evaluation. It's not that I don't need anybody, don't get me wrong. I need people, and everybody needs somebody. But I'm the type of person sometimes that when I'm dealing with stuff, God gives me insight while I'm dealing with it, and sometimes He'll even give me a strategy. And I don't know if that's something that I've acquired over time, because I'm very immediate and forthright with questioning God about what's going on with me. And I sometimes even will I don't know that God responds to me, but He likes that I love to learn about me. And so I will put myself out there and ask Him a lot of questions. And I'll get in the Word and I really start to seek things out. And usually, you know what, I get answers like crazy. And having this network, my God, having this network of women that I utilize, I am not afraid to ask for help. I know all the benefits of asking for help. In fact, I had a video on that earlier here. It's just so many benefits to asking for help. And I feel like everybody gives input, and I take a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and I chew it up, and I kind of spit out the rest. But you know, what we all are here for are for mentoring and ideas, and even some problem solving at times. So I love that you all are so concerned about me and willing to pray for me. And as you pray for me, those prayers just go up to heaven, and God just brings down some of the most awesome and beautiful strategies and answers and things that I probably wouldn't get otherwise, like in a heavenly way. I don't know if that makes sense, but I get much more answers and fullness of answers and richness of answers. Sometimes just sharing with different people, and everybody has a little bit, you know, that they offer. And I appreciate all of your prayers. Everybody knows that this has been a vulnerable time for me, and I've had some, you know, situations and circumstances that have been a little challenging, but by no means am I, you know, like losing it. I'm not losing it. And even if, whether I pass or not, I'm just going to chalk that up and still keep trying and just do whatever needs to be done. My dad, when he was studying for his alcoholism license and exam, you know, one of the things he did was he took it like I think 3 times. I felt so bad because my dad didn't pass, and I think he just finally said, you know what, I'm doing what I love to do, and that's all that matters. And he just kind of resigned. I really wanted him. My dad just has a high school education, so he didn't really know what else to do, and he didn't have answers. And it's so good to have people sometimes who do have answers. And I really want to utilize this time in this moment to speak to that, because I think sometimes we isolate ourselves and we think that we have all the answers, you know, and quite honestly, you know, as women, we try to figure it all out, and I just think, you know, that's truly can do us a disservice. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what happens when you get in this place of frustration and overwhelm, and when you're in a knot. What do? Do you get to a place where you kind of go and just ask a couple people and get their advice? Or do you withdraw and isolate and pull yourself aside and just cut yourself off from everyone? I know that I used to do that because I used to be really depressed in my past, and I guess being a little vulnerable here, I mentioned my sister actually put me in a place where I think women were able to see I'm human too. Yeah, I'm a therapist. I kind of, you know, have issues and concerns sometimes that get in the way of me being my best self, as we all do. But I think vulnerability is a strength, and I think when we're vulnerable, it makes us closer to God and to man. Our bonds kind of grow as we get closer to people, and of course the benefits of answers and insight and our frustrations being shared, all of that is so pivotal for us all. So yeah, I'm good. If I really needed help, I would do my own intervention. I tend to do that as a therapist. I'll bring people together and say, I need help. So when I really, really, really need help, I'm like screaming from the rooftops, and I'm saying, you know, I really need some girl time, or I'm, you know, and 9 times out of 10, God shows me who some of those people are. With this, he's being a little vague. I don't know if it's vague. I wouldn't call it vague because he is giving me answers. I would say with this particular situation, with me studying for the exam and all, I'm learning that advice comes in several different ways and several different variations, and that everybody has good input. So it's kind of like figuring out a structure that works for me with all that different advice. You know what I mean? So I think that's the key, and I really like that. I really like that God is so versatile sometimes that He allows us to be in a place where we're surrounded by people who are like a network and like a tribe, and they tend to help us out and give us various ways or different variations of help. Friends and people that are in our network are meant for help, and it's just awesome sometimes to be able to, have these people in our lives who help us with things, people who are close to us and people who help us to care about us and are willing to brainstorm with us. Everybody doesn't have that in their corner. They really don't. And so I think it's a blessing to be able to have Mentor My Sister, and hence the whole reason, once again, for Mentor My Sister, so that we don't isolate, so that we don't pull aside, we don't get in a place and state of overwhelm, and we don't share. I mean, why do we do that to ourselves? To me, sometimes that's the worst kind of torture that we can put ourselves in, when we get in a quiet place and stay there and don't talk about it. And so vulnerability on that level doesn't mean, oh my God, we're losing it and we got to run and rescue anybody. But it does mean, I need help, and can you communicate that help? Do you feel comfortable communicating that help? Sometimes it just means I need a little bit of peace or of advice, and what do you think about this? And I tend to sometimes do that to friends. I'll go, so what do you think about this? This is what I was thinking about it, and this would be my approach or my way of answering something, or putting myself out there and saying, I'm having a difficult time. And so my thing would be, yes, to normalize it, right? And say, everybody has a difficult time. Like, here's how I might have a difficult time with this too. Or here's something very similar to that I might have a difficult time with as well. And I think when we all approach it in a well-rounded point of view, and we get to see how everybody else problem solves, we can learn from that, So this has been a great experience with that, I think, here at Mentor My Sister. It's just been really interesting seeing how everybody responds to me and my vulnerability too. So that's cool. I do not mind being vulnerable. In fact, I love it. And that's why I created Mentor My Sister too. Because vulnerability is a strength. And it's a God-given strength when we share and we open up and we talk to someone else about something, that we can recognize that we're not alone. And Mentor My Sister is to help everyone recognize and be aware that you are not alone. We all have similar struggles. We all have different things in our lives that challenge us. And it's not always going to be okay. It's not going to always be beautiful. It's not going to even always be urgent or an emergency. But when you get that message, what do you do with it? How do you help that person? How do you help them to see that through? Check in with them. Do you call them? Do you say, hey, are you okay? Is everything all right? And I think that's the blessing of just sometimes being in a place where we all kind of have somebody and someone who might be available for us. So, cool. All right, take care. God bless you.